Hi everyone, and welcome back. If you haven't had a chance to tune into our previous lessons, I strongly suggest that you go back and do so. If you are tuning in for the first time, hello, my name is Lauren. I work for a group in Lancaster, Pennsylvania called Compass Mark. We provide a program to a couple schools in our area called Leaders of Future Generations. So that is where these lessons are coming from that you are seeing today. In our last lesson, we explored how to refuse bullying when it happens by standing tall, speaking up, and looking the bully in the eye, using our assertive communication skills to combat bullying. Today, we're going to take this a step further and learn about ways to report bullying. But first, our quote. Our quote today comes from former First Lady Michelle Obama, and Michelle said, "When they go low, we go high." Okay, we'll come back to that later. So like I said, in our recent lessons, we have been going through all the different avenues of bullying. We first learned how to actually define and recognize bullying by looking at our definition that bullying is any kind of repeated aggressive behavior intended to hurt somebody. So it happens more than one time, it's a targeted attack, and the intention or the purpose behind why the behavior is happening is to hurt someone. We then went through how to refuse bullying, like I said, by standing tall, speaking up, and looking the bully in the eye, using assertive communication to be able to stand up for what you believe in, whether that is as the victim, standing up for yourself against someone who is trying to bully you, or as a bystander, standing up for somebody else. So speaking of standing up for somebody else, today we're going to focus on the concept of reporting bullying. This isn't a very large lesson, but it's a very important part of the bullying aspect here, okay? And there is often a lot of confusion when it comes to reporting bullying. First of all, why do we call it reporting? This is because we are simply bringing the facts to someone who can help. When I talk with students about reporting, I always hear about the topic of tattling or snitching, as if they go hand in hand. But they actually don't. They're completely different. So first, let's make sure that we really understand the difference between what tattling is and what reporting is. So snitching and tattling refer to telling on someone for the sole purpose of getting them in trouble. For example, maybe telling your teacher that a classmate said a bad word. So telling your teacher that that classmate, said something wrong or said a bad word in class, it doesn't benefit you at all. It doesn't change your life. Your teacher doesn't like you more now because you told them, right? You are just trying to get them in trouble. That is your entire intention. Okay, so tattling situations, they usually involve instances that are none of our business. We should just keep ourselves out of it. And they're not hurting anyone. Okay, so that classmate telling the bad word, it might have offended someone in class or it might have set the wrong tone, but they're not targeting someone and hurting them in that situation. So by telling the teacher about what we heard, we're just trying to get them in trouble. Okay, so that's tattling, okay? Reporting refers to telling a trusted adult that someone is getting hurt. So we have to stop and think. We have to stop thinking about this as telling on the bully. So when you think you're tattling, you think that you're telling on the person doing something wrong and they're going to get in trouble for it now. But rather what this is that we're standing up for the victim and bringing the situation to the attention of someone who can help. So we're not telling on the bully, we're telling for the victim. I often hear students condemning reporting bullying by saying that they will be known as a snitch and then they will get bullied. This is a big fear that kids have, and we adults have to understand that kids are afraid to come to us and tell us that they're getting bullied or that they know someone who's getting bullied because they think that the bullying is going to get worse. That further shows how much control this bully has over the kid, right? Or has over the congregation of kids, because they're able to influence the majority of the kids in this class to not tell about what's happening and report this because they have that much control, right? And that's not a good thing. Okay, so the thing is, bullying is a problem. It's a big problem, and it has the potential to cause a great deal of really serious negative results, okay, negative consequences. As we discussed when we were defining bullying, bullying can cause kids to feel unsafe and rejected at school, a place where they have to go, or a place where we all deserve the same level of fairness to go to school, learn what we need to learn, and feel okay about it, right? We shouldn't have to feel afraid or stressed out or rejected every time we walk into a building we have to go to every day. So this is really unfair. And the prolonged violent behavior that happens with bullying, it can lead to depression, anxiety. It can lead to students doing worse in school, actually affect their grades. It can lead to them not wanting to participate in certain extracurricular activities. So now you're having an influence on their future because they don't want to participate in this sport anymore or whatever it might be. It can even lead to kids dropping out of school or running away or dealing with suicidal thoughts. It's very important that we understand the severity of this issue. This is not just kids teasing, right? Bullying is different. Bullying is a targeted attack on someone. So this is not something to be handled lightly. And we all have a moral obligation as human beings to look out for people around us, to look out for those fellow classmates. To remind you what empathy means being able to identify how someone feels in a situation and feel it too. So being able to empathize with someone, you can see what that would be like if you were in that situation, understand their feelings, and then show them empathy by helping them out, okay? So the trusted adults in your school are here to help. They're aware of what bullying is, and they know how to handle it. So reporting bullying to an adult is not going to result in that adult getting you in trouble or telling the bully that you snitched on them. We understand how serious this is. We understand that this isn't about, gossiping or sharing with someone that you told on them, right? This is more about helping the victim. It's not about the bully, okay? So reporting bullying, however, I did say it's not about the bully, but it can be about the bully too in this way. Reporting bullying is not only to help the victim, but it can also help the bully. So as we know, when we talked about, why a kid becomes a bully or where this starts, where this comes from, there's a variety of reasons that stem from a source of unhappiness or feeling inadequate or feeling insecure. Some bullies experience violence in a different area of their life. Maybe they witness it happening or they actually have violence done onto them. They might feel jealous, insecure, depressed. They might have all of these really negative emotions and they don't know how to handle them. And because of that, it comes out in really unhealthy ways, like trying to control the feelings of others. So if we report bullying, you're not just helping the victim actually, but you might also be helping the bully get the help that they need to correct their behavior and to learn from it. Some bullies continue to bully because they have never been told not to, right? They get people in school laughing along or cheering along. They are surrounded by a group of friends. And so they feel like this is just normal behavior. I mean, look at Mean Girls for an example. If you've seen Mean Girls, I hope I'm not dating myself too much there, right? That's not too old of a movie. But Mean Girls, okay, so Regina George is like the main mean girl, the bully. And this is a very dramatized, stereotypical version of girl bullying in a school, okay? So I understand this is a movie. It's not real. But if you look at her friends, so it seems like she's surrounded by a lot of people who love her, right? Wrong. Okay, she's surrounded by friends, yes. But when those friends are given the small opportunity to turn on her, they do very quickly because they're greeted by someone who, is offering them actual friendship and not just this fear and, this fear of being bullied. So these bullies, they're usually people who actually don't have a lot of love, don't have a lot of love in their friendships there. They don't really know what true friendship is, or maybe they never really learned how to make friends the right way. So by reporting bullying, again, you're not just helping the victim, but you could also be helping the bully become a different person and learn differently and behave differently with their friends. So I often hear students say that they reported bullying and the bully didn't get in trouble. Nothing happened, right? Our school doesn't care. They don't do anything. But it's actually important for you to understand that just because you reported it, not everything can be solved with punishment. Okay, so we've learned from that. Not everything can be solved by just putting that kid in detention or suspension or expelling them or something, Now, it's your school's judgment depending on the severity of the situation to do what they need to do. But it's very possible, and it's important for us to understand that the bully could be getting help. They might be going to a counselor, they might be learning to modify their behavior, and we just don't see it because honestly, it's none of our business. It's none of our business what happens to the bully or how that bully learns from this situation. it is our business to know that that bullying behavior stops. Okay, so if we reported it because we're worried about someone in school, then sure, we want to know that they stopped that behavior. But as far as what the teachers actually decided to do with that bully to help them change their behavior or learn from this, that's not really our business. And we might not know sometimes that anything is happening, but it very well could be. So when you report bullying to an adult, they're going to ask you a few questions. They're going to ask you, where did it happen? When did it happen? And who was involved? You should try to give them as much information as you can. Okay, so maybe it happened at recess. Bob and Jim were involved, and it happened, at morning recess at 10 o'clock, whatever it might be. Okay, so being able to give them as much information as possible, but don't stress if you can't remember something, or if you know that, one kid was doing this, but you can't remember who was also involved or who was standing around or whatever it might be. One really important thing to know too is that the adult is not going to ask you, why did this happen? Because we don't know, okay? Nobody knows. And that's now the teacher's responsibility and the counselors and the people at your school to try to help this student figure out why they're using that behavior, like I said before, and get them hopefully the help that they need to change their behavior. But it's not our business to know why they're bullying this kid or to even make an observation about it, okay? Because we're probably going to be wrong, or we just really don't have all the information, okay? So our duty is just to recognize the bullying and report it to an adult. Reporting bullying is the easiest thing that you can do as a bystander or even as a victim. If you see a situation happening, it's bullying. You use our 4 questions from recognizing bullying to understand that this is definitely a bullying situation. Then go tell someone. Tell someone right away. Anyone, any adult nearby. Okay? Not a fellow student, all right, because they can't really help this bully in the way that an adult could. But go tell some adult that you trust. We have a responsibility to look out for those around us, and hopefully in turn, they'll look out for us, right? So this is a two-way street. Treat others the way that you want to be treated, as we know, and being able to, look out for your fellow students so that you can stop this behavior from happening. So let's go through some examples of tattling versus reporting and see if you can guess the right answer. Number 1, Molly tells her teacher that Jamie is working on his homework assignment during class. So tattling or reporting? Tattling, right? It's none of Molly's business whether or not Jamie is working on his homework. Okay, even if that's breaking the rules, even if that's the wrong thing to do, it's not your job to get him in trouble, okay, to tell the teacher what's going on. Number 2, Chris overhears Jane making fun of Carla's clothes for the 3rd time. He waits until after class to tell the teacher what he heard. Tattling or reporting? So in this one, it is reporting, because this sounds like a bullying situation. He overhears Jane making fun of Carla's clothes for the 3rd time. So this happens over and over again. It seems like a targeted attack that Jane is targeting Carla. Okay, so he waits till after class, the students left, and he tells his teacher simply, this is what I heard. These were the people involved. It just happened. And that's all he has to do. He reported the bullying. Okay. Number 3. Dana sees a 5th grader pushing around a 3rd grader. She's seen this happen before. So she tells the recess monitor what's going on. Tattling or reporting? This one's reporting. Okay, so this is an obvious bullying situation. Someone's getting pushed around, so we're using physical violence. Someone could definitely get hurt. She has seen this happen before. And if you notice the power difference here, one of our questions to decide if it's bullying or not is someone using power, a 5th grader and a 3rd grader? There's already an inherent difference of power here because the 5th grader's older. Okay, so it's very important that we report this bullying that's going on. So it's definitely reporting. Number 4, Steve tells his mom that Donovan ate the last slice of cake. Tattling or reporting? Tattling. Okay, so it's unfortunate that your brother ate the last slice of cake, okay? But you telling your mom is simply to get him in trouble. Okay, so that's definitely tattling. There's no bullying going on here. Okay. Rebecca informs her principal that she saw a negative photo of Jack posted online, and a lot of kids were saying mean things about it. Tattling or reporting? This one's reporting. Now, there's some information missing here. We don't know who posted the picture, sorry. We don't know who posted the picture. And, she might not remember which kids were saying mean things about it. We don't know if this is the first time that this has happened or if it's a one-time, just mean behavior offense type of thing. But it's online, which has its own endless possibility of bullying here with it being able to reach people and maybe Jack not even knowing about it. And so we would definitely say that this is worth reporting because it's something awful that happened to Jack. It's exposing him and it's a negative picture and people are saying mean things about it. So Rebecca informing her principal about it is reporting the bullying. Also, just take a note here that you're a student, and just because something happens outside of school doesn't mean that you won't get in trouble for it in school. Okay, so if you are bullying someone online and you think that that's, okay or safer because it's not happening on school grounds, that's actually not true. So Rebecca going to her principal here does make sense. She could also tell her parents about it, but she could definitely go to the principal because it's still dealing with the kids who go to this school. Number 6. Jordan continues to intimidate Michael out of his lunch. Joy notices Michael getting thinner and thinner, so she tells the bus driver what she's noticed. Tattling or reporting? Also reporting. So in this situation, it says Jordan continues to intimidate Michael out of his lunch. So it seems like on multiple occasions, Michael has gone without lunch because Jordan has taken it from him. So this is definitely a bullying situation, and it's starting to affect the way that he the health of his body, right? Because he's getting thinner and thinner. So that is definitely a huge warning sign to a very upsetting situation for him. So Joy going to the bus driver and reporting it is definitely reporting. Okay. So as a leader, I can't stress this enough. You're a role model. Okay. People watch you, people pay attention to you, and people follow you. And that's a good thing. That's a great thing because you're a great person and a great kid, right? If you exhibit good behavior and help those in need, others are going to follow your direction and do the same. However, if you see someone getting bullied and you choose to do nothing, you say, I'm going to stay out of it. It's none of my business. I don't want to get involved. Guess what? Everyone else is going to do the same thing. There's actually this thing called a bystander effect, that if no one does anything, then no one's going to do anything. And it's really important to understand that you need to break that cycle. You need to be that one bystander who's an upstander, that one bystander who actually does something. And when you do that, then other people are going to pay attention. They're going to notice it and they're going to follow your lead. So be aware that whether you choose to report or not report, other people are paying attention. And if we can kind of try to change that cycle and start being, a generation of people who don't stand for bullying and we report it when we see it, then imagine what kind of change that could create all across the country and the world for kids who are getting bullied. Okay, if we, the other, whatever percent of kids who maybe aren't getting bullied and just see it happening actually stand up against it. Okay, so let's take a look back at that quote again from Michelle Obama. Michelle said, "When they go low, we go high." Okay, so what I think this means is that when others go low and they choose to use that behavior that hurts somebody else, we have to do what's right and go high with our behavior. We need to be positive when they're being negative. If we see someone getting hurt by bullying and we don't do anything about it, then we're kind of stooping to the level of that bully. We're kind of participating in that bullying because we know it's happening and we choose not to do anything. So we're perpetuating, we're letting it go on. Okay, so instead, we can do the very, very easy thing and go report it. Go put it in someone else's hands who is more equipped to handle it, like an adult, someone that you trust. Okay, simply go to someone that you trust, an adult, and report the bullying. Okay, so how about some discussion questions for today? I would strongly urge you to share your answers with someone in your house, maybe a friend online or a sibling, or share with me. I would love to hear from you. Number 1. If you saw someone getting bullied at school, who would you report it to? So think about your school environment, and maybe it depends on when it happens, if you're at lunch or if you're at recess. But if you had like 1 or 2 adults in your school that you really trust, who would you report it to? Number 2, why do you think reporting bullying is an important thing to do? And number 3, how does reporting bullying make you a better leader? Okay, For our at-home activity today, I want you to reach out to your friends and your peers and ask them to share with you bullying situations that they've witnessed. Maybe you've already talked about these before, but I would like you to talk to them about these bullying situations now that you are so well educated on how to recognize, refuse, and report bullying. Ask them how they knew it was bullying, and then ask them what they did about it or didn't do about it. Educate them on the information that you've learned through these videos and help spread the word that bullying is not acceptable behavior. We can stand up against it, and reporting bullying is not the same thing as tattling. It takes all of us making an effort to change the way that things are for them to really change, okay? And that can start with you. Well, I hope you've enjoyed these lessons on bullying and today's lesson on how to report it. I hope that you are all well and safe and that you tune in for future lessons. All right, well, bye everybody. I'll see you next time.